Holy smokes, everyone. We've got some huge news. Now, I just did a video on Bitcoin, what's happening in the Bitcoin markets, but we've just had some new breaking news, exactly what's causing this huge sell-off, what's causing all this FUD, and it's something absolutely crazy. And I think this is something we definitely have to listen to. So we're going to get into this. They've just had a press conference about what happened with the Colonial Pipeline attacks, about what the FBI was able to do with this, etc. And also talking about what's going to happen for the future regulations for the cryptocurrency markets moving ahead. And as I'm recording this, the Bitcoin markets are selling off heavily. Let's have a look. So as of recording this, Bitcoin has fallen all the way down to $31,255 at its lows. So it's down around 12-13% as of recording this. And what I think is a key support level is 30K. If we break 30K, then, we could be falling all the way back down to 24K. We'll have a quick look here on the 1 year chart if there's any other kind of support. So yeah, probably around 24K would be the next target. Okay, so let's get into this breaking news, what's making this huge crypto sell-off even worse. Okay, so looky here, everyone. So it says here, Bitcoin extends losses, falling below 32,000 after US seizes most of the Colonial ransom. US officials said Monday they've seized 2.3 million in Bitcoin paid to hacker group DarkSide. The FBI was able to access the private key or password for one of the hackers' Bitcoin wallets. And this is something that I think is huge, is the FBI being able to access the private key or password, because a huge, proponent of Bitcoin, or what do people say that the reason why Bitcoin is so valuable is because of its privacy and security. Now, it doesn't say exactly how the FBI was able to access its private key or password. Who knows? He maybe said, look, tell us or we're going to, send you to prison for life. But if they were able to hack it or hack the private key, that's a big security risk for the Bitcoin markets, but we'll have to listen for further updates to see exactly how they did access his private key and password. But something I just find a bit suspicious, what's happening in China? We're getting a lot of China FUD with China banning mining, banning banks from using that as payment. They're banning influencers, they're banning apps. They're completely shutting down Bitcoin right as they release their digital yuan. And we're seeing all this FUD now come out in the US right as the Federal Reserve is about to release its research papers on the digital dollar. So I think this just may be a bit of a coincidence, because if Bitcoin does, drop all the way back down to 20,000 or 15,000, because remember in the last bear market, it dropped from 20K to about 3.5K. So that's about an 80% drop roughly. So that means in this bear market, now not every market's the same, but if it did drop 80%, it could fall all the way between 15 and 13,000. And then obviously, if that happens right as the Federal Reserve releases its digital dollar, that's just a bit of a coincidence, because then the Fed can say, oh, look, guys, look how crap Bitcoin is. It's too slow. It's too expensive. It's not a store of value. It's crap. It's used by criminals. And they can use all this FUD, and then people will be like, oh, okay, I'll use your digital dollar. So then the Federal Reserve can tempt people. They'll say, look, download the app. We'll send you, $500, whatever they do to tempt people to download the app to use the digital dollar. But then they'll be able to track and trace every transaction people use, and they'll be able to more centrally control the economy by, say, for example, sending money that has a negative interest rate or it has an expiry date. So say, look, we'll send you a $1,400 stimulus check, but you got to spend it here and you got to spend it by this date. But let's get back to the article on what's causing this big dip and this huge amounts of fear in the markets right now. So it says here, the reason for the move was unclear. However, it may be related to concerns over security of cryptocurrency after the US officials managed to recover most of the ransom paid to hackers that targeted the Colonial Pipeline. A court document said investigators were able to access a password for one of the hackers' Bitcoin wallets. The money was recovered by a recently launched task force in Washington, created as part of the government's response to a rise in cyber attacks. And of course, this is something the Federal Reserve just coincidentally warned us it was going to happen, that there are going to be lots of cyber attacks, and also something, the World Economic Forum has been telling us going to be coming. So again, this is a bit of a coincidence, but then this may lead to more cybersecurity laws and may lead to less privacy online, and it may lead to, the establishment watching more and more of your online activities. So this is the full coordinated attack of FUD. And if you don't know what FUD means, it means fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There's been a number of issues weighing on cryptocurrencies, including fears of a regulatory clampdown and recent tweets from Elon Musk. So you've had Elon Musk pumping and dumping Bitcoin, then he's been pumping and dumping Dogecoin, and now he's been pumping all these other jokes and all these other meme cryptocurrencies, and he's making the cryptocurrency community or the cryptocurrency investment asset class look like a joke. And he's kind of losing credibility here. I think his tweets are slowly moving the markets less and less, and people are really sick of this guy. And of course, we've had all the FUD from China, where authorities last month called for a crackdown on crypto mining and trading. Once a major player in the market, China has since moved to stamp out speculative investment in cryptocurrencies, banning a fundraising method known as initial coin offerings and shuttering local exchanges. But you know what? They just kind of keep rehashing this China FUD. I don't really follow the China FUD anymore, or the China news with crypto, because they were doing this during the last bull market in 2017 as well. But what's going on in the US is much more relative, and especially if there's going to be more clampdowns on regulation, and also just the trading patterns and the price action we're seeing right now is extremely bearish. So listen to this, everyone. CEO of digital currency data from Crypto Compare told CNBC the euphoria has worn off to some extent in the retail frenzy, as regulators have moved to tamper manias, he added. Data is showing continued cornering of markets by institutions. Also, we'll get into a clip here. Last week, thousands of Bitcoin investors went to Miami for an event billed as the biggest event in Bitcoin's history. It was pretty crazy. It got pretty lit. And we'll just look at a clip, because it says there was a few bizarre events that happened. And just look at this. I find this really funny.
Yeah! We're not selling! We're not selling!
Okay, so I don't know if Max Kaiser made it very clear there, but I think he was kind of insinuating that they're not selling. Again, it wasn't too clear, and I kind of getting the hint there that he doesn't really like Elon Musk. And also going back to the macroeconomic picture, this new news just came out for job openings. It set a record of 9.3 million jobs are vacant. So what this means is the Federal Reserve has hit its goals for inflation. We've got crazy inflation, and the jobs are there. So they're kind of getting very close to hitting their goals of full employment. It's just a matter of time for waiting for the unemployment benefits to end for people to take up these jobs. So the markets are now pricing in that the Fed is going to taper, and they're going to have to start lifting interest rates. And when the Fed lifts interest rates, the stock market will fall. If the dollar strengthens, cryptos will fall. And when interest rates go up, people will start rotating back into safer assets. And if everything priced in the dollar, like commodities and even precious metals, if the dollar goes up really sky high, they lift interest rates, they're going to have bad price action as well. So everyone, what this means for us is, it means we are officially in crypto winter. We are in a Bitcoin bear market. This doesn't mean Bitcoin's dead. We all knew regulation was going to come. They've been talking about it for years. It will eventually come. But I am bullish on Bitcoin still in the long term. I'm waiting for it to fall to around 20 to 25K, and then I'll start dollar cost averaging back in, and hey, it could fall all the way down to 15K, but then I'll just keep dollar cost averaging back in. And what normally happens, which will lead to the next bull market, is when the reward miners get paid for mining Bitcoin gets dropped in half, which is called the halving event, which the next halving event will happen in 2024. That means, going off history, we should enter into another bull market in 2023. And for all those people that load up during the bear market will be rewarded handsomely. So everyone, that was just another quick update. I know I did a Bitcoin video just before, but I just thought I'd give you this breaking news that is contributing to the sell-off, what is making the sell-off even worse. And for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. If you haven't already, please tap that like and subscribe button. I'll keep you all up to date on the latest happening in the cryptocurrency market, stock market, and global finance news. If you're bored, I'll put up some other videos here. I'll see you all there.